Here we are.
Hi,
hey, family.
Before we start, shameless plug that look at this.
Hey!
Brand new, limited edition Brian and Janelle. I'm in the family travel mug. We got the shopping bags coming in. Only way to get this, first 100 people to give blood at the blood drive coming up on Tuesday next week. Cuyahoga Valley Church. You want this? You can't have it unless you give blood. Was that aggressive? That's kind of aggressive.
Do I get one?
Yeah.
Are you going to give blood?
Just for visiting, driving all this way.
And here's the other, we got to introduce you to our good friend. This is Judy Kron
Hi, everyone.
from Chicago.
It's great to be here.
Yes.
Judy Kron, I look up to dramatically. She's been working in radio longer than me, in media way longer than me. She mentored me in Chicago. Just so you know how big time Judy Kron is before we get into this topic today.
Big time.
That's right.
Who is the
It's Judy from Moody.
It is. We're not going to say Moody Judy, though.
No.
Thank you.
You've heard of Lou Dobbs, of course. CNN's Lou Dobbs. Everybody knows who Lou Dobbs is.
Yeah.
Who was his executive producer at CNN?
Oh,
Judy Kron. So who's in charge today?
That's right.
Judy Kron.
Oh, yeah, I'm
She's
going to
still in
leave the
charge.
conversation. You guys
She
are done
walks
with your
around.
show.
All right, here's what you're doing next.
That's right.
So what I would like to do, though, is talk today, since we have you with us, Judy, is talk about, so you're Christian women, obviously.
Well, that's
Brian.
Brian. Brian
We're
really good
done.
job.
That's good, thank you. No,
We're all done here.
so what's it like? What is it? What are the challenges and the benefits, would you say, as a Christian woman in 2019 of working with men? I mean, working with us is like a dream come true, of course.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We're not your typical men.
Right, we're above average. Working with men.
Especially in a male-dominated field.
Right.
You know?
As James Brown once said, it's a man's world. It's a man's world. It's a man's world. But it wouldn't be nothing without a woman.
That's
on
right.
the-
Right. Say it one
right.
more time.
Come on,
No,
Brian.
that's all you get. That's all you get. It's hard.
Well,
It's a hard one.
it is a hard one. I think there is history to just the differences and the separation that's existed for a long time, not only in the workplace, but just overall, I think, really around the world. And there's different cultures, right, we could talk about, but I think here in the United States, for me as a Christian woman, it's been, being in the in a secular field initially and then coming into Christian ministry, I definitely felt it, I think, more so.
Really?
And I was really trying to find my place, and I felt a little shy, I think, just because I was aware of it, and so I just felt like I couldn't really put myself out there initially.
So talk about what era are we talking about here? We're talking about 1990 something, right?
Yeah. I would say
2000?
early 90s. Yeah.
Early 90s.
Yeah.
And so you were working for CNN, and you felt like, I'm in this, and I'm equal to these men I'm working with.
Not necessarily. No.
Okay, so,
No,
but
I
it's different?
felt like I was there to kind of serve.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah. So I wanted to get my footing, find my place, and so I didn't. I wasn't as assertive, and I wasn't. Yeah, I wasn't as assertive as I am today. I've definitely found my voice. It's taken a while.
Yeah.
It's taken a while, and I wouldn't necessarily say that was the reason why, but I was definitely aware of it, and so I kind of came in with, wanting to be noticed, but feeling like I was maybe more subservient.
Even in the Christian context?
Well, I grew. I think I found my voice more towards, and I think Lou and other male mentors at CNN really encouraged me to live into my giftings and to really just pursue, who I was and to grow my skill set. And actually, they were the ones, as far as getting mentored, three of them mentored me, which I'm still friends with today. I wouldn't be where I am today had those men not mentored me in writing and editing and producing and hosting.
And see, that's
So-
controversial, though. Do you realize that?
I know it
That
is.
you had male mentors?
I know it is.
Do you know how many Christian women think it's uncomfortable and how many men won't do? We talked about this on the show just yesterday when you were out, Janelle.
Yeah.
That so many men are, because of the Me Too movement, uncomfortable mentoring women. They're afraid of being accused of something.
I think in today's age, absolutely. But back then,
Yeah, right.
it was more of a, hey, I'm going to come alongside you and help you because I see you've got potential or what have you, and I want to bring you, I want to teach you, and so it was happening all over the place then, and it was, you know, my female colleagues, we all were getting mentored in different aspects, and I mean, I'm very grateful for that. And I think it's unfortunate that today that's not as prevalent because of some of the issues we're seeing in today's culture.
Do you feel like the men affirmed you more in the workplace than the women? When you say you were afraid to put yourself out there, what made you feel like that? Do you think it was within you, or was it the men or the women?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think that there still is, as there was then, competition that existed among women.
Yeah.
And it's really unfortunate that we're not more of there for one another. It's really, and I don't know what it is, quite honestly. I don't know if I could really, if it's one issue or just a certain psyche, but
Yeah.
women are competitive. And so I felt more comfortable around men, actually.
Right. Yeah.
And they were more laid back, and like, you know, it just felt more of a, I don't know, back at that time, you know, they approached me to say, hey, I'll, you know, love to help you. I didn't really necessarily get that with women.
Yeah.
So, with that said, I'm grateful for the opportunities. And again, I don't think I'd be the woman I am today had they not taken that time for me.
By the way, Mike's saying good morning. What's up, Mike?
Hey, Mike.
We've got also John said good morning.
Yeah, always tunes in.
Glad to have you guys with us. We're talking with our good friend Judy Kron, media legend.
I don't know why I laugh at that.
I don't know why you laugh
I
either.
wouldn't call myself that.
It's part of it's because I'm intimidated by her resume, let's just be honest. Talking about the challenges of being a woman working with men
Yeah.
and some of your experience with that.
As a Christian woman, since we're talking, you know, to our Christian audience, is it appropriate to have male mentors, and what are some things to keep in mind? Because if we're working with them, as Christians, we kind of have to navigate what's appropriate, what's not. How did you navigate that?
Well, at Moody, now I've been at Moody for, you know, over 20 years, and here it takes on a different feel. I've had male colleagues who I respect and look up to, and I want to learn from them and glean from them. So it takes on a different meaning. Whereas in the secular field, I was really trying to advance in my career, and I feel like here we're all here to kind of as a family, a community of sorts, to serve together. And so I don't think the male female what we see outside in the culture, I don't feel exists here at Moody.
Okay.
At least I don't feel that.
Right.
And I'm coming from Chicago. I don't know. I mean, you guys could speak to different idiosyncrasies.
I mean, word on the street is that this is the best environment in the world for women to work.
Right here. Right here.
I'm not sure why that would be.
Really?
Well, come on.
Thank you.
So,
We report, you decide.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, what are we going to do? So how do you encourage young women today that are in this tenuous culture of Me Too movement? They want mentorship, they want career advancement. They don't view themselves, this is my favorite example, as the wife in Footloose, that her job is to just be really quiet. Remember the movie Footloose?
Oh, yeah.
It's like totally your
Yeah.
generation.
Yeah.
Remember she had
Ryan.
like...
Thanks for showing my age.
I don't think I was born yet when that came out. I'm just kidding, I
you were
was.
born.
No, I think I was. Maybe.
1 year old.
But she had the braided hair and the long dress, and she just kind of quietly smiled.
Yeah.
What about the women with talents and passion?
So in the Christian
Anywhere.
environment, or
Both,
anyway,
yes
yeah.
and.
yeah. Well, a couple things I think for women today, and I've always had someone that I've respected and admired, and approach them to mentor me. I don't feel like I've ever arrived. So wherever I'm at, I'm always seeking out an older woman, someone who maybe is more seasoned than me in the workplace, someone I respect maybe in their Christian faith, to mentor me. So,
But that takes humility, Judy.
Well,
It takes a significant measure of humility to say, this person's better than me. Which is what you're saying when you
Yeah.
want a mentorship relationship.
well, someone approached me in high school. And so for me, I approached someone approached me in college, in the ministry I was in college, the discipleship ministry, and then outside of college. So I have about 7 women that I could say right now who've built into my life, who've spoken into my life. And I think it's so critical in the workplace to find somebody that you can talk to and who can, you can be accountable to and who can speak into you. And then I think it's important for myself then to be looking at other women who are maybe younger or just starting out, to mentor them. And so to me, that whole model I think is a beautiful model to be gleaning from others and then and I think it's a very biblical model.
Yeah, it is.
And I think if more women, and I was talking earlier just about the competitiveness, that really kind of subsides when you're in that kind of model that I think is honoring to Christ, and to be seeking other women out to just, help out
Right.
and help them along like I needed help. Now, I got that from a male, and so actually, as I mentioned, several men back at CNN who were older and saw, I don't know what they saw in me, but at the time, I was grateful for their assistance, and I wanted to learn. I was eager to learn. So I would say to women who are just starting out, find that woman who you respect, and you mentioned the whole Me Too movement. It's unfortunate that that actually has separated and men and women. Would you not agree?
Oh, that's one of those unintended consequences
Instead of
where
bringing us together.
I think a righteous cause of stopping sexual harassment, which God hates,
Yeah.
and in the workplace and all that kind of thing that's tied to it, the intention was to remove those barriers for further unity and support. And now the consequence has been further disunity and separation.
Further disunity. And I think
It's frustrating to a young woman, I'd imagine.
I think so, because you really don't know. For a younger woman, and
Which is you, both of you, by the way, very young.
That's
Thank
right.
you. Thank you.
I'm sorry, just you,
that.
Judy. Just Judy. Just
He's
Judy.
only doing that because you're here.
Yeah, I wouldn't. It's just for Judy. It's a show.
we need to stay together.
I pretended.
Against this. No, we love you, Brian. But so I have a 16-year-old daughter at home, and trying to help her in this culture right now, and to raise her to be a strong female. And when I say strong, I mean raising her with godly values. And I think that's the strength I want her to exude to the world and be who God has made her to be. But then she's entering into this environment. And what is her perception of men? What is her perception of, and what they're telling these young women is, you can be all that you want to be, when you want to be, how you want to be. And so there's kind of almost and that's the last, I wanted humility. I want to teach her humility.
Yeah.
I don't want to teach her the antithesis of that. And it's a hard terrain right now for these younger women. So you're entering the workplace, and if you're coming in with that kind of attitude,
Right.
I don't see how it's going to thrive.
Well, some women I think feel pressure to overcompensate and look
Yes.
stronger than they are in order to be valued. So how does the Christian woman who values humility get ahead?
I think she stays right on course, because God honors a humble woman and man.
Well, on that.
By the way, sorry, Janelle,
Yeah.
quick, hi Wendy, what's up? Robert, Sarah was saying she's worked for 30 years in a predominantly male environment, and she hasn't had any problems, which praise God.
Yes.
A lot of women are going to apply for positions with
We'd love
you.
to sit down and have coffee with you.
So thanks to everybody for joining in on this. Sorry, Janelle, go ahead.
So in terms of humility, is the antithesis leadership and strength? Like, are we, because a lot of times when I bring up those qualities in a woman, like in raising my daughter within the church, it almost feels like, well, no, that's not what we want. We want submission. Is it leadership versus submission and humility? Or is it okay to encourage women to be leaders and strong? I know that that's usually associated with feminism, but is that really?
See, I guess I don't look as the quality of humility as kind of
The opposite of...
Yeah,
Okay,
I
good.
mean, for me, humility is what we all should attain to be
Yeah.
and want.
Men and women.
Men
Right.
and women.
Right.
And so I think if we're all in that direction where that to me is the umbrella of the fruits of the Spirit.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I can't be loving unless I'm looking to put you first. That's humility.
Right.
I can't be patient unless I'm asking God to instill that in me, and I'm so God is above me. That's humility.
Right.
So I think as we walk forth, whether it's in the workplace, at home, in our families, we're teaching our children. To me, if that is our focus,
Mhm.
that we are to serve, we are to love God and love others. That's a picture of humility that we all want to work towards. And to me, that's the best strength for a woman.
Right.
That's where leadership is found. That's where I find strength in who I am and who God has made me to be. And out of that, then I can lead. Out of that, I can be strong.
Right.
Out of that, I can be, whatever God purposes for me in this world.
Yeah, and in my experience, humility, it's counterintuitive. You would think humility would be a sign of weakness,
Yes.
but people actually over time view it as a strength.
Right.
Because when you have the fortitude to say, this person knows more than me and is more talented than me, and I want to learn from them, that shows like a coachability. It shows a lot of qualities people would want.
And when you're around
then you
somebody
grow.
like that, you can see it.
Yeah.
You can see it. And in the Christian ministry that we're in, if we're all working towards that, right, in our own personal lives, then in that environment, I want to be around those people who are on the same trajectory that I am in my Christian life, working towards that. And so the one thing I love that about Moody, right? I love being in Christian ministry and all for leading others to have on their faith journey. Love that. What I do miss is being in the marketplace and the opportunity to rub shoulders with people. I would love to be the woman I am today back then, and instead of the competitiveness, seeking women out, instead of just trying to find my place and trying to get somewhere.
Right.
I wish I could put my female self back then, and boy.
Why do you feel like, in terms of making more of a difference with non-believers out in the world, is that why?
Yeah, because I feel like I have more of a outside sense instead of me focus, like that I have to become something. Now it's like I want you to become something, and I want you to come to know the Lord.
Oh, that's cool.
Because how God has led me in my life, and again, who I am today, I want to put myself back there, and I just wonder if I could have made more of a difference.
Yeah, I hear you.
I wish and so I think about those relationships, and I'm grateful today that those male mentors are still, we're still connected, and they know who I am, they know who I work for, they've asked, and so I do pray that those relationships that are continuing to be fostered, that you never know.
Yeah.
One of them recently had a divorce, and he talked to me about just, he'd been married for 27 years. And so just the ability just to be able to talk to him and share a couple of verses with him, let him know I was praying for him. The fact that he even shared that with me, and just the difficulty it's been in that that season of life that he's in. I pray for those opportunities, but
Yeah.
again,
Yeah.
I wish I had been more aware of that when I was at CNN.
Thanks for your honesty and all this stuff. And since you've served as a producer for so much of your life, you don't get the headline much. And we're all family around here. Can you give us some of your Moody Radio resume so folks can see where your fingerprints have been on ministry here? Take us back 20 years.
Well, 23 years ago, I was a grad student, and I was looking at Moody. Moody, at the time, was called Moody Graduate School. Now it's Moody Theological Seminary. Awesome 2 years getting a master's in biblical studies. Highly recommend. I was coming out of college going into Moody for those 2 years, but and it's interesting. I was going to Moody because I wanted to. I was telling everybody, and I was a graduate of Purdue, but I was telling my friends, well, I'm going to Moody because I want to know what I believe. So when I go out into the marketplace, people will, if they ask me, tell me about whatever, about hell or heaven or whatever. I wanted to be able to articulate my faith. And that was why I was going to Moody. So I was going to finish there and then go out in the marketplace. That was my plan. But the first day at Moody, Scott Weigel, I don't know if you know Scott.
Yeah, he works in marketing, I believe.
Colleague of mine there at Moody, and he said, hey, Moody Radio is hiring up in satellite services. I don't know if they would take a chance on a female. I don't know if they've had a lot of success there, but why don't you go try? I'm like, okay.
Had they hired a woman before there?
I don't think so.
You're a trailblazer.
I don't think so. So
you get a T-shirt or something for that.
Phil Shepard was my first boss, and he said, I'm going to take a chance on you. So he did. Aww. So I worked there for 2 years, learned all the engineering. I was overnights doing,
While Mike Kellogg's program was playing?
Yep.
That's before CNN? After?
That was before CNN.
Okay.
Yeah.
But then didn't you work for Jim Warren on Primetime America?
No, I never worked for Jim, but Jim was there at the time.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. So, and I always, so during those 2 years, I'm over in satellite. It's on the other side of WMBI. And I would just look over the glass and think, oh, if I could ever work for WMBI, it would be wonderful, Well, I got a chance to work for Greg and Chris in the morning. So Chris Fabry was doing a morning show with Greg Wheatley. And
before his national show came to be a thing.
Yeah. Way before then.
Like in the 1960s or so, is that?
Thanks a lot. I was able to answer phones for them, and I thought I had landed like the best job ever, answering phones in the morning for Greg and Chris.
And that was Greg Wheatley from Primetime America.
Greg Wheatley, yeah. So I finished. I graduated. I was like, okay, am I going to stay at Moody? Or go out. Well, I said I was going to go out in the marketplace, and so I put out some resumes, made a mistake on my, if you can believe it, on my cover letter to the CNN Chicago bureau chief, and I spelled his name wrong. So don't ever do this. Don't ever do this. But in my case, it actually turned out to be. So I called him up because I never heard from him, right? So I followed up, which you're supposed to do, and I said, "Hi, Jeff Slock, are you?" He's like, "Who did you say? What did you?" And I said, "Well, Jeff Slock." He's like, Anyway, he made some joke, and I made a joke back to him because I was like so embarrassed because his name is actually Jeff Flock. And I said, "You mean
whatever?" So
then I said, "You mean like a shepherd with sheep, like flock?" And he just thought that was the funniest thing. I'm like, okay, whatever. Anyway, he's like, I like you. Come on in. Like, I'll interview you. Anyway, that's how I got my job at CNN. I mean, my first internship.
Wow.
I interned in Chicago for a while, then ended up getting a job in Atlanta. So I was there for several years. It was actually Phil Shepard who they were starting to. They wanted to launch a new concept for a morning show. And this was in 1999 for the morning ride. They were bringing in Mark Elfstrand and Dave Mitchell, maybe some names. That was Chicago market. But so my husband at the time was needing to come back to school, get some schooling, and so then I decided to interview and got that job. So I produced that morning show launched it and got it going, and then, I've taken on.
You've been on tons of shows. Been working for tons of shows.
Lots of different shows, yeah. Just over the years, and Yeah, and now I'm producing our Money Wise Live show that is on 3. Well, what time is it on here? 4 o'clock.
It's just-
Yeah,
yeah.
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock.
Yeah.
All right,
I gotta get in that. I gotta get in that.
Brian and Janelle, 6 to 9 in the morning. That's all I know.
So you have no idea what happens. In the
I don't know what's
afternoon
happening.
here.
I just talk in the morning.
Taking care of 5 kids. And
So Money Wise Live is on at 4 o'clock every day here. So yeah, it's been a great ride. I'm so appreciative of Moody and the opportunities, really just over the years, and everything I know about radio has been here, and I'm really grateful for it.
Well, thanks for coming to your favorite station today. This was
Yeah,
favorite
it
station
is.
day, so.
Hopefully, no one from WMBI.
Yes.
Well, sorry.
No, you know
It's
what?
your
I do
favorite.
love these guys. Kelly's on the floor right now. Dear friend and someone that, you know, God brought our paths, crossed our paths back in Chicago, and good mentoring and good opportunities. So I'm very grateful for Kelly. I've only met you, member, for like 5 minutes.
I know.
But this woman right here, she exudes. I knew right off the bat that she was the real deal. And
Aw,
I mean,
Brian.
5 minutes of meeting you, and I feel like we could like really be.
Oh my
friends.
goodness, yes.
So
I like that.
And Brian, I mean, come on.
What else do you have to say? We've been friends for many years.
Many years. Funny story. So.
Uh-oh, I don't know what this is.
So I'm sitting. We had like a back in Chicago. We had like a 1 floor of his cubicles, and Brian has this thing, and I don't know if you guys know this, but with hand sanitizer.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
That
we
is
know.
a thing. Like, it's so weird.
Oh, yeah, this is one of my.
And just out of nowhere for
Embarrassing
no
moments.
reason. He'll be like,
Yeah. Big germaphobic right here, Brian Dolan. Hey, you know what? It's your thing.
No,
It's your
yeah.
thing.
Cleanliness is next to godliness, Judy.
Oh my goodness, Brian.
Does the
So,
Bible say that wrong?
So we had this dispenser, right?
Subjectively true.
And Brian would like go by it like at least 35 times a day.
What is wrong?
I was working hard and just like, but I
he
take
would,
some when I
like-
walk by.
He
Just,
would like go like that. Oh, then you have to, you know, it just he was.
I don't know where that shoulder's been.
So crazy, Brian. So one day, and he did this often, but he would like crumble up paper and like whip it at me.
And then
And-
duck so she wouldn't know who it was.
Yeah.
Oh, my
So I had
Yeah.
no idea where it was coming. Of course, it's coming from Brian. And anyway, one day he completely missed me because normally you would hit me.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
that
had
was
a great
pretty good.
shot. Yeah. You should have
Did you
been
hear
in
that?
basketball.
Great.
Yeah.
Oh.
He doesn't do this to you, right?
No.
Is this recorded?
So
It's one of those that
you hit. Remember, you hit the
Yeah, so
sensor.
yeah,
and
so
it broke.
Oh.
it fell in the ground, and then I thought it would be funny to pick up this dispenser. You know those wall ones?
Yeah.
Where you just push the thing and you walk by? I thought it'd be funny to turn it and aim it at Judy and like, haha, and I would like squirt it and it would just kind of go.
Oh, yeah.
It was like a squirt gun.
Oh, it squirted.
I went, and it went all over your face, as I recall.
Yeah,
Did it land on
right
my-
here. No,
I went,
right
and
here.
and she was like that far away. It was like all over her face. I was like, oh no, I'm gonna get fired. At least she's clean, you know.
Some things never change.
So I'm like,
Yeah.
hey, I don't know if you've ever had that on your face, but it's not, you know, on your hands is one thing, but I was like, Brian, what'd you do to
Oh,
me?
Brian.
All right,
But you know
On
what?
that
We're still
note,
friends.
we
On
are.
that note, we are still friends.
We grew deeper through adversity.
Yeah.
That's really what it was.
I want to say hi to Joe and Sarah. Thank you for tuning
Hi,
in.
Joe.
And
Hi,
all
Sarah.
more than 20 of y'all, almost more than 30. But I especially want to say hi to Ice Baby.
Ice Baby Sam, he's my
Ice
friend from
Baby.
Ghana. He's watching from Ghana right now, aren't
I'm going
you?
to sing
Cool.
Ice
Yeah.
Baby.
Da-na-na-na-na-na.
I'm not gonna do that.
That's right, you were born, you know, in
It's
yeah.
like early 2000s,
You
right?
don't know that song.
Yeah, I'm much too young for that. But no, he's listening. He's watching this from Ghana, West Africa, right now.
Wow, that's awesome.
He's also on radio.
Hey,
What's up,
brother.
Ice Baby?
Awesome.
You see how cool that sounded? See it when I said that?
Ice Baby.
It's like I'm Ghanaian, basically. All right, we out. We'll see you tomorrow, 6 in the morning.
Nice
Thanks,
to meet
Judy Kron.
everybody.
Bye.